See everybody. Hi, everybody. Steve Cady here at Bowling Green State University, and welcome everybody. We're having kind of a soft start. We'll get jumping in here in just a minute. We got lots of people showing up. Another person is coming in, so this is just what I like to call is a soft or raggedy start, which is just we're all saying hi to each other and getting connected in, and then we'll jump into the program for today. I'm really glad to see you all. It's a great group of people. This is awesome, and we're going to be talking today about two things. We're going to be talking about your professional joy through thought leadership and advancing your professional career in a meaningful way to make a difference that touches people's lives directly and indirectly, and how a doctoral program can do that and give you opportunities to do the things you love with the people you enjoy working with, making a difference that matters, and having a rewarding experience as well, financially and professionally, and those kinds of things. So we'll be talking about that, and then we'll talk about the program itself and the doctoral program and how it can support you in that, and why do a doctoral program at this stage in your life, which I think it's a big question of when and how it fits. And we have people here who are doing it and have worked with the program. We have current students, we have graduates, we have Dr. Michael, who is here. She's still getting used to being called Dr. Michael, I think. And we have others that are on their way. We have Carol, who works with a lot of our students and is part of our faculty. So we have a lot of things here to be here for you. So our focus is on you, our guests here today that are interested in this interested in this idea. All of us that you see here that I just mentioned, we're here for you. We're here because we believe in this work that we are doing in the world, and we want to be helpful to you in making the right decisions for how you can proceed and make the best difference you want to make in the world in a very concrete way. I liked it. I was just on a webinar with Yesham Harris, who's a part of our international study tour that we do. It's an international symposium experience that we do, and she is a conflict negotiator through the UN in Europe, and she works all throughout the European and Africa and so forth. And she works in Belfast, and she works with a lot of people in very serious negotiating scenarios and situations. She's trained by the UN, and she takes her training programs and does a lot of work. We were just talking about this because she's bringing some of this work into organizations, and she said something. She goes, it's the hardcore people side of things. It's like we're not just soft. It's not soft skills, it's hardcore people skills. It's about doing challenge. She goes, people ask her, how can you be such a gentle person doing these negotiations with warring countries and people who are having to negotiate and resolve conflict where they have had their families killed, and they have to come together and figure out their way forward, because she's in the thick of like some serious stuff, to the point that she has to have people call her when she enters countries, to call her once she's on the other side, just to make sure that she wasn't taken or something didn't happen where she's not able to go in and do the work with the group that she's going into. And they said, how do you do that? And how can you be a gentle, and so tough at the same time? And she says, people misunderstand this idea of the people side of change. People misunderstand the importance of the people side of change and doing real things that matter in concrete ways. I think that's what our program attracts. Everybody here that's here to talk today is going to be talking about, share stories, but they are doing really important, impactful work in the world. And they're doing it with a human-centered focus, and they're learning how to do it with a human-centered focus in the world. And they're doing it in service of something bigger than themselves, and they're doing it in a way through the doctoral program to advance their thought leadership, which helps them to advance their professional brand in a way that gives them the opportunity to do the things in meaningful ways, more credible ways, and to find that professional joy. And so I gave a talk at the Tavistock Institute for London this past week on Wednesday. You will get the recording. It just came out today. I just got the email. So, and Teo, before we go, I want to make sure I put it in the chat so you can see the talk that was given with them. It was really good. It was a thorough discussion around professional joy and thought leadership and the competencies of thought leadership and how people pursue that and leverage that in service of what they want to do in the world. So kind of with that, I'll stop. We have a good number of people here, but I want to focus, if we can, for those of us that are here in support. Thank you. Thank you, Anna Marie. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, David. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Carol, Teo, Jennifer. Let's all hold our thoughts. I'd like to check in with the people that are our guests here that are interested in the program. And if you can unmute yourself, and if you can turn on your video, I'd really appreciate seeing you if you're willing and able. Being connected to you and seeing you would be fine. I don't care what your background looks like. It's just important that I get to connect with you. If you're willing, if you can create whatever you need to so you can be here, that would be awesome. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just helps me to connect with you and feel connected to you. So what I'd like to do is hear from you. I'd like to, and if you could, I'll start with Aaron. Aaron, that's just because I saw you right above you on our, on this game show dashboard. Yeah,
I'm on the dashboard.
Yeah, I have Josh above you. So Josh, if you could go after Aaron, and Gordon, if you could go next, because you're right there. And then I will run across over to Kendra. If you could go after Gordon, that would be great. And then Katura, hi, thank you for being here. And if you could go after Kendra, I'll move over to Tanya. Tanya, if you could go after Katura. And then down here, I see Paulina. Hi, Paulina. If you could go after Tanya, that would be awesome. And I'll remind you, or we'll figure it out. Okay, I'm just giving you kind of a general heads up. And Les, if you could go, and Amy, if you could go after Les, and then Erica, if you could go after Amy. But I'd love to hear what brought you here today. Some of you said that, but what brought you here today? And what's the question that if it was answered today, it would make all the difference for you in what brought you here today? So what brought you here today, and what's the question that if answered would make all the difference for you in what brought you here today?
Okay, well, I'll kick it off. What brought me here today is, this is my 24th year in manufacturing. I was originally a chemist by training in mathematics and moved into the business world about 15 years ago. And I believe that I've seen an incredible experience of being able to bring some of my best practices to bear in the workplace. And it would be a passion of mine to be an author and a teacher and help equip students in the future to, navigate this business world with great success, but equipped with the right sorts of resources. And if part of what stands between me and being able to achieve that goal is a little more education, then I'm willing to make that commitment. What could be a potential barrier or a challenge would be, how am I going to pay for it and my kids' education all at the same time? And, what kind of creative ways can I resource to be able to help me overcome the cost to achieve this objective?
Awesome. So Aaron, you, one thing I'd ask to add to your introduction, Josh, when you do is like, where are you? Where are you located physically? Sure. Where are you physically, and kind of what's your professional identity at the moment?
Sure. I am the director of project and product management at H.B. Fuller Company out of St. Paul, Minnesota, for their health, hygiene, and consumables business. I am located just a mere 7 miles from the campus. So I'm between Perrysburg and Bowling Green.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you. And what I'd like to do is, for those that are in here, the students that are here, you heard Aaron's question. To save time, and let's use this multifaceted tool, could you all answer her question the best of your ability? Those of you that know the answer, could you give perspectives on the question she brought? We'll come back to the question, and we'll make sure that we all get our questions answered live, or any way that you need. But I think that might be helpful to have it actually, everybody kind of tag teaming and
That would be
crowdsourcing the
fabulous.
response, right? So if you all could, and if you want, you can put your email address if you're willing to allow Aaron to reach out to you later too, if you want, those of you that are here. So those of you, could you repeat your question, Aaron, and then we'll go to Josh.
Yeah, my question would be, how do I go about fitting the cost of this program in when I might be paying for my own kids' education at the same time?
Gotcha. Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Hey, Josh, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you. My name is Josh Almondson. I am located in Columbus, Ohio, although I was born and raised in Bowling Green and went through an undergrad program there close to 20 years ago. I am in school administration in Worthington schools, and a doctoral degree is kind of, I would say, kind of the final step, in the world of education, of opening doors to everything that you would want to do school administration wise. So that's kind of what sparked my interest. I would like to start the program probably next November, And probably the one question that I would have is flexibility and length of time that the program would allow somebody to complete. So some programs would suggest, getting things done in a 3-year window. I don't know if I'm set up for that right now. So I would be looking for programs that have flexible time allotments in terms of starting, stopping, taking breaks, working maybe more at different times of the year and less at others.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Though, and I'll come back as we're going. I'll open it up once we're done. Once you see some of the answers in the chat, I have very specific answers for Aaron, for you, Josh, for you. So I'll be glad to, when we get back, we'll kind of come back and say, as you look at the chat, look at responses, what are your thoughts? And then where's additional questions? And we'll just popcorn it around. So we'll make sure, Josh, you have those answers today before you leave. Okay, cool. Thanks, Josh. Hey, Gordon, good to see you.
You too. Thanks so much. Hey, everyone. Good to see you, Teo. Sorry I couldn't say hi back to you. I was having a little Zoom issue earlier, but really good to see you guys and other friends on the call here today. I'm located in New York City. I'm the director of organization development at a nonprofit, spiritual education nonprofit here called One Spirit Learning Alliance. And I have just recently been promoted to co-CEO. We're currently looking for a co-CEO. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. Technically the search is closed, but this is not why I'm here. Why I'm here is I went to the master's program at Case Western. It blew my mind, changed my life, propelled my career forward, galvanized me as a professional and a leader. And the ripple effects through my organization, the changes I've been able to bring, have had just no logical end. It's just been, my participation in change has been life-giving to me and to the organization. And recently I received this surprise honor of being promoted to co-CEO of this organization. And so when you said, what questions do you have today? My questions are, what are some perspectives on shared leadership? How can I galvanize my thought leadership? And what's the optimal application of contemplation and spiritual formation and transformational change? These are this is more like 3-year questions. It's not like a today question. So that's what I came up with.
Awesome. Is there anything that you need answered to help you better think about the doctoral journey, professional doctorate?
I'm taking on a new role, and it seems kind of crazy for me to start a doctoral program at this time, but it's also kind of how I roll. So I just, to really understand, and especially if I can be applying what I'm learning in the workplace, I think it would be really valuable. So just I guess, time requirements.
Right, gotcha.
Would look
so
like
I'm not seeing, and I'm not seeing my planned activities doesn't seem to be working. So I'm asking you all to answer some of these questions that are listening, the students and alumni, people that are here, if you're able to. So I'm not seeing that. So maybe someone, I need someone to capture the questions for sure. We need to capture the questions in the chat, and then we need to give some thoughts to them. So I'd like to ask you all to do that. That's how we can be most helpful. I'm going to come back to all this, but I just don't want to forget the questions. So let's make sure we get the questions captured. So thanks, Gordon. These are all really good questions, really, really good questions. So Kendra, how about you?
Greetings, Stephen. Thank you.
Hey.
I am currently living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am grateful for the invitation that Gordon extended to be present here. We intersect at One Spirit Learning Alliance, where I serve as one of the second-year deans. My life intersects at business, spirituality, and social entrepreneurship and clinical therapy. I am the CEO of a consulting company called Kind, which stands for Knowing Yourself in Need of Devotion. Kind is spelled with a Y and not with the I. I am here because it's time for me to sharpen my professional development, as well as discover anew what it means to be in business in a more innovative way. My undergraduate is in business management, and I've taken quite a road to get back here, going to seminary and going to clinical social work. And so I'm looking for a doctorate program that speaks to all of those identities, and wondering how this program does that. And I think also my question is time and flexibility as well, given being a social entrepreneur. And also I'll be going into an organization in about 3 years that I was invited to lead, called Cady, which is a boutique hotel and conference center that's centered around intentional rest and wellness. And so I know that I need more education to bolster my skills to run that particular organization. So I'm grateful to be here and discover.
Awesome. Thanks, Kendra. Thank you. Yeah, so we can come down. I think, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go with next. Katura, since I'm just going to throw out the next name.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katura Scott. I am currently located in Cleveland, Ohio. I have been in the HR world or space for about 15 years now. Started early on in manufacturing in the paint world. And then now I am currently in healthcare. And so what has brought me into, I think, just inquiring about this program is, I think as HR leaders, we're always asked, or just even for my own knowledge, how can I continue to facilitate and implement change, right? And what does that look like from an HR perspective? How do I continue to leverage that within my HR career? It's something that I've always enjoyed doing, is implementing change and having some successes and wins and the spaces that I've been a part of. And so how do I continue to do that? And then hopefully, if I did choose this program, eventually I'll do some teaching as well, and being able to leverage some of my experiences that I've learned along the way to some students, college students. So, and I'm also looking at affordability and flexibility. Like I said, I am here in Cleveland, so I'm looking to see what type of flexibility the program would offer for working professionals.
Thanks, Katura. Thank you. So let's say Tanya's, I don't know if Tanya wants to talk. You want to, let us know when you're in a spot. You look like you are.
Yeah, I just came back to the break room. So
okay. Well, so how about Paulina? Paulina can go, and then you'll get settled in, and I'll have you go next. So Paulina, hi. No, did you go? You already? No, that was Katura. Paulina hasn't gone yet. Hi, Paulina.
Hi, hello, Steve. So my name is Paulina Megasi. I am currently in Budapest, Hungary, and I work with Citibank as a senior business analyst. What I do that is related to organizational, change management, that I own a consultancy back in Ghana, where I'm from. with a group of friends that we help SMEs and small businesses to align their business strategies to their objectives. And for my background, I only have finance and IT background, but then also managing a consultancy on the side. Most of the things are self-taught. So actually taking this course would help me, and not only me, the partners that I work with gain knowledge from, you know, what we do, and also learn from other people. And for me, my question would be like everyone else, affordability and flexibility. Yeah, just want to know how flexible it will be for me being on this side, and also how affordable it is.
Gotcha. Thanks, Paulina. Thank you. Tanya, you want to say hi?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
So I usually use my middle name, Ray, but I am a nurse practitioner. I work for Bon Secours Mercy Health in Lima, Ohio. So just down the street from Bowling Green. I actually got my bachelor's degree in nursing from Bowling Green, UT. But I am a huge proponent of change. I am a change agent, and, you know, how can we live in the world today and not recognize everything that needs to be changed? So that's kind of my goal, is to work in my field to help others accept change and recognize change and grow change. So my biggest, you know, questions are cost. Obviously, I don't want to go into a lot of debt. And also time. I mean, you know, life is so busy, and we also want to enjoy things. And so not overwhelming myself or having to miss out on some of the other like fun and family situations would be my biggest concerns.
Gotcha. Thank you, Ray. Thanks. So we have Les. Would you like to check in?
Yeah, so I'm Les Thompson, and I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer for Loves. Most people know Loves for the travel stops, but there's a lot of other ancillary businesses that we could talk about another day. And I'm based out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I've lived in the Toledo area 3 different times, twice with Owens Corning, once as a CHRO for ProMedica. But I've now been in Oklahoma City for the last about year and a half now. Really, for me, I like to continue to try to continue my own growth, development, challenge myself. But in addition, given my role outside the executive team, I spend a large portion of my time in total rewards, but very next to that is our talent and organizational development piece. So as you think about the growth of the organization and needing the growth of our team members, I need to continue to hone that skill. In regards to questions, really the number one for me is, you know, we have this certainly US and growing international organization, and I spend a lot of my time, if not in the office, out on the road traveling, visiting facilities, sites. So how, you know, the time commitment and trying to balance a doctoral program versus that professional life.
Awesome. Thanks, Les. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and we're going to get to these. I've seen we're seeing some themes emerge from the check-in, so we'll make sure we get hit on these top themes, and you'll hear from me and the students and alumni here, so you can have kind of multi perspectives on your questions that you're answering, or you're asking. Yeah. So Amy, do you want to check in or say hi? Okay, you're on mute. If you do, all you do is unmute and come on in. You can interrupt. I think I've got everybody. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So couple ways to approach the next step here. One is, let's pick what's the hot question here. What did you hear? Did anybody want to offer? Hey, there was this one kind of starting point. We got time. We're in pretty good shape time-wise. So what's the first question that we might want to dive into and talk about that somebody heard?
I feel
Dr.
for
Cady, I think,
flexibility.
yeah, the flexibility and the work-life balance was a huge theme across most prospective students.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple things. So in the doctoral program, there's a few layers to that, and I'm going to open it up. So first layer is, what does it mean to be getting a doctorate? It depends on the type of program. So there are doctoral programs that are pretty, I don't want to say mill-based, but they kind of are mill-based. They're online, you can get them done. They don't require a lot, and you can kind of get through them pretty quick without them being very, very intensive. And so what you want to look at when you look at doctoral programs, you want to look at the program's balance for working professionals, and you want to look at its credentials and its accreditation, and you want to look at how that provides opportunities. And so the program we have designed is designed for working professionals. And what does that mean? We looked at, when we first did the design, we had focus groups and design teams and design people to kind of basically go through the process of really asking the question, what do you need a program like this to be for you? And so the program we have created is designed for people who are working professionals and who are pretty busy, and at the same time are looking for a cohort-based experience, or looking for an engaged learning experience with others. So there are other programs that are less engaged. So they're fully online. You don't really get connected in per se, but you can still get decent learning. However, I would argue that I think the engaged portion, most of the students will say, is a really important element to the personal growth and the stickiness of the learning and the depth of the learning. That's number one. Second would be the accreditation. Looking at the program's accreditation. So we're in a college of business, and what that means is that we have AACSB accreditation and other accreditations related to that. That opens the doors for a lot of other opportunities in terms of getting executive in residence, lecturing positions, and so forth at universities and whatnot. And so we'll put in the chat sort of the BGSU compare thing, and you can look at a comparison chart. You can look there. So that's the second piece. And you can see that what we try to do is make a case that it's worth the time to spend on coming into residencies, because you not only grow personally, you get sticky learning, and that sticky learning is translatable into your effectiveness in the world in a more impactful way. The last thing is, in terms of the program, it's a 3-year program. Some people will finish in 4 years, and some people might finish in 5 years. I would say that some people could go as long as 6 or 7 years if they needed to, but our design is for a 3-year. And so with our first cohort, for example, because we're moving into the next cohorts, we had 65%, 70% finish within 3 years, and 90+% finish within 4 years. Okay. So we're really committed to that. We do that because the 3rd year experience is a dissertation residency experience where you go through 4 residencies, a structured experience with support, resources, and your cohort and your committee. It's a structured experience to get you through your dissertation year. Many times dissertation processes, you're going through a structured experience, and then you, boom, automatically on your own figure out your dissertation. And I think we all do well in structured experiences that are guided. There's lots of room for you to innovate, figure it out, and self-manage. But I think a structured cohort-based experience helps people. They'll say, if it wasn't for my cohort, it wasn't for the structured experience, I would not have gotten done. So we have been able to show those that participate in that 3rd year experience, the more they participate, the more they're likely to finish on time within 3 years. The less they participate, the less likely they are to finish within 3 years. So that 3rd year experience is really important. And the last thing is I will say, it's a part-time experience. What part-time means is you think of it like a part-time job. So you have to carve out your life in order to do a part-time job on top of your current work, which means making some movements on things and moving some things around. And I've seen very, very busy people figuring that out successfully. But I think it requires intention. You have to intentionally restructure things so to be able to give it the time you need. So I'm going to open it up in general and just for students and alumni to kind of add to this. And then we'll see what you all think that we're listening, the prospective students for our program.
I don't want to sound too. So I studied some marketing in my undergraduate career, so I don't want to. This is not supposed to be the marketing speech, but to me, the cohort learning that I've gotten to experience with my peers is, as they would say, the price worth the price of admission. Like, it feels like that is such a value add to have incredibly internationally renowned faculty to guide my thinking, my research, right, and help me nudge in the right directions, but then also have peers from diverse backgrounds and perspectives who, like, I'll get emails almost daily, like, Teo, did you see this article? Have you heard of this thing? Have you investigated? I'm like, oh, please stop. I already have 50 that I need to review for this literature review I'm working on. But it's an incredible value add to have these multiple perspectives. So I really want to encourage you, if that is at all something that you feel you'd want to be part of a learning community as part of your doctorate, rather than, and some people prefer that. I remember my father, when he went through his PhD, it was sort of a one-track mind, and it was him and with his books. This is not that. Is I get what I want to offer. You could probably create that experience for yourself if you chose to within the program, but the value add is really having co-learners and co-inquirers alongside you.
I'll ditto what Teo said a little bit, but just to add, for those of you that are worried about,
and each of you, as you introduce yourself, maybe what's the reason why you're in the program and why you stay?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm Anna Marie, so I'll start over a little bit. I'm Anna Marie. I currently work in higher education in Florida. For me, the goal of the program was really to be able to continue adding to my credentials. Eventually, I'd like to move into high-level leadership in higher education. And so that was part of the goal, but also to be able to teach. So hearkening back to what Dr. Cady said a few minutes ago about being in the College of Business and higher ed, College of Businesses typically make more money because they are highly sought after. Having the accreditation that BGSU has in this program is one of the highest accreditations you can get in a College of Business. So that just helps add to those credentials and your credibility. From the time perspective, I think that you certainly have to be committed. You can't dilly-dally really or play around. It's intense, but you have faculty who are more than supportive. I've never seen a faculty really as great as this faculty or as good as this program has been designed and structured. So that helps tremendously as a very busy working professional. I also have children at home, so that makes it a little bit harder. So make sure you're fully committed when you jump in, but I would say it's absolutely worth it. The residencies, I think, are a vital part of the learning. What you get those residency weekends and coming to Bowling Green, being in a room with all of your peers and your professors, you just can't recreate that anywhere else. And I think that's one of the biggest draws to this program. You get weekly online meetings, but then when you get in those residencies, you just learn so much, and you get the opportunity to really bounce your ideas off your cohort mates, and they help you push the boundaries of what you think you're capable of doing, or push you to think outside of the box that you might have put yourself in. And so far, my experience has been everyone is supportive and encouraging and willing and open to support you however you need to be as successful as you can be.
Thanks, Anna Marie.
I could add a little bit to the conversation. My name is Hannah Stickle, and I'm a current member of the D.ODC program in cohort 5. I would like to maybe ease everybody's mind as you think about joining this program. I'm a self-proclaimed very busy person because I take on a lot of things, and it's easy to be able to lean on your village, your tribe around you, whether that's your family and your friends, or the people in the cohort or the faculty like Anne-Marie and Teo were alluding to make this program work for you. Every one of us that's a student right now in the program has our own story, our own journey from across the world or across the country. And we support each other to make sure we can get the work done and be there when we need to be there. I think that there is some self-guided discipline that is needed, like Anne-Marie said, but as all of us are professionals, I think everybody understands how to prioritize and leverage your strengths when needed. I know that there was a question there, and Teo answered it about the residencies. The residencies are basically for every class that you take, you have a residency weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in person in Bowling Green, Ohio. And those are just critical to the cohort experience and to making sure that you get that connection and that you learn in a different way, because I know some people might thrive online, but myself, I really need to like sit and talk and have dialogue with somebody. So I really enjoy the residencies. But just would like to let everybody know, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And also touching on my why. As a plant manager, I've been in manufacturing my whole life. I look at the practical side of things. I know we also have the college and the professional doctoral approach also representative on the call, but I like to lean into the understanding of we're constantly changing in business, and we really need to get all of our teams on board with those change initiatives. And change management is very tough in business. So going through this program is allowing me to have the expertise necessary to bring my team on board and get them through any changes that need to be made.
Just want to add a very brief plug for the residencies. I'm Teo, by the way, and I have my MOD from Bowling Green State University, so it's always felt natural when I learned of this program to think about the doctoral program. I'm really glad that I have finally committed to doing that. In terms of the residencies, while I don't want you to dwell on the visual necessarily, but there have literally been restroom conversations that have resulted in like purpose statements for projects and initiatives that you just can't get when you're, even in this online space. And to me, it's almost like I used to be fascinated with desert travel. If you think about you're traveling along and there's the oasis that you needed just in time to refuel, and then I'm ready to go maybe on my own a little bit longer. That's been a couple of times for me an experience with the residencies where like, man, I'm wrestling with something here, I don't know, and here's the residency, and like, okay, now I'm good to go for the next stretch of doing the work. Most of the cohorts that I'm aware of have either a Slack channel or a WhatsApp group or some sort of asynchronous mode of conversation that is pretty active and ongoing, where we continue to support one another. So I believe that is an additional add-on. Again, I'll stop my the cohort story.
Yeah. So one of the things I'll say from a very practical perspective, in our design, we design it so it's one class at a time, 7 weeks, a mini break, few days, and then 7 more days. So 2 classes per semester, and it goes in sequence. The intention behind that is to allow you to focus on that class and go deeper without having to try to cognitively manage multiple assignments across 2 different classes. Allows you to kind of dive in and focus. The flip side of that is that when you start day 1, you start right away, and you're doing a lot more work in a class. Think of you're taking that class twice. You're taking it twice. And so think of 2 versions of that class that are layered on top of each other. And so, there's certain learning outcomes you're achieving while you're achieving certain learning outcomes in the same class, but it's all coordinated within that class.
I could talk forever. No, I'm just kidding. I think mostly Hannah and Teo and Anna Marie have kind of captured most of, the same sentiments that I had going through the program. A lot of it seems confusing in the beginning, the process. I think it's become better organized with every cohort that's gone through. But, for me, I really wanted a true cohort based experience. To me, going through classes just doesn't mean you're in a cohort. I wanted, to have connection with people. And so the residency weekends were very important to me. And that was one of the top reasons why I chose this program, was to have those residencies. And as someone who did just eke into the finish line 2 days before the deadline, I could say especially that third year, participating in the residencies and staying connected to, my chair, the committee, my cohort mates, because they helped out a lot. I was in my last residency weekend. I think it was April. I can't remember, Steve and Carol.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
It was a blur. April, I walked in that weekend with a whole bunch of data and really no idea what I was going to do with it. And I walked out that weekend with something incredible. And I took pictures of that process over the weekend, the whiteboards, writing stuff down, connecting lines and circles and things together and trying to make sense out of it. And I don't think if I had that experience, would I have finished in time, because I couldn't have done that by myself at all. And that was, my cohort mates coming in and listening to me talk through stuff and try to make sense of things out loud. And then, ending the weekend with my chair, really firming things up and going, okay, this is the way I'm going to go. And it was my chair who said, please don't change this after that weekend, after that Sunday, early afternoon. And I was pretty close. I only changed a teeny tiny bit, but that piece of it, I think, is so important to, getting done on time. I have a friend that went to get her PhD at Wharton, and unfortunately she just never got through the dissertation process in time, with the deadline. And she's a very smart person, very capable. I just don't think she had the support in place to get through, in the time frame that was required. So if you're that kind of person who likes connection and working with other people, and I'm a super, super introverted person, so it's not, introvert versus extrovert, it's support and connection and camaraderie and all that really, I think, makes this program so much more unique to the ones that other ones that I considered. So
right. Yeah. And what's interesting, Megan, as you talk about that support, there's so much of the hard and soft side, or the people side, and the process side, right? There's a lot of process supports, like all the resources and the experts that we bring in to work with students throughout the entire program to make sure you have the technical skills and tools and support to finish. And then there's the human side of the faculty and the students and your cohort there to really make sure you have what you need to get the support, to stay motivated, to have answers to what you need, to know you're not alone, and some accountability, like, just knowing, you see other people, we are connected and collaborative. So by seeing someone else's story, you learn something. And students during the residencies in the third year or throughout the program, students are sharing resources, they're sharing tools like Zotero and this particular technique or technology or this particular handout or this thing. So there's a lot of real practical sharing and kind of helping each other crowdsource our way through it. So it's very practical process, and it's very people and personable and support oriented. So support really has both sides. I'm going to pause there because we only have a few minutes. I want to make sure the students, prospective students, those of you that are here, I'd love to hear what your reactions are and is there still a question for you? We're going to be doing these once a month. You can always come back once a month. You can always ask to talk offline. You can say, hey, I want to have a conversation, put it in the chat, send us an email. We'll schedule a chat with you to one-on-one have a conversation with you. But for those of you that are here as our guests today, what are your reactions, and what's maybe another, do you still have another question, maybe a burning question for today that you'd like to ask?
Hey, Dr. Cady.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
I think it sounds really compelling, and I wanted to go back to that idea of flexibility. Let's say you start next November and life happens, and all of a sudden you have to take a break. Now you're going to have to reinsert probably into kind of a new group of students. Is that the kind of the situation that would emerge? You would lose that camaraderie, but you just develop a new camaraderie?
Yeah. There's two ways. And I don't know if anybody here has done that, but they can tell you about their experience of someone who's probably come in. So yes. So here's what I've learned. One, that you can, if you have to take time to maybe step away and come back to another cohort, you can definitely do that. Second, your cohort, you're going to connect with other cohorts as well. You're going to learn about it because we do things so that we all meet each other and build a larger community along with the individual communities. Students will say that they went from one to another and they just felt boom, instantly like that. So there was like some positive to it, like, oh, I'm so glad that I had both. I got the best of both cohorts, like that kind of thing. So there's a lot of intention around helping when someone comes in, like, hey, how can we support you in reintegrating with another cohort and jumping in sequence with them? And it works. I've seen it work no matter when a person steps out and steps back in. I've seen it work really well.
Okay.
And we are creative, so we will work with you. Like, we'll help you figure that out. We'll help you navigate that when that time comes, if it comes.
So I have to be careful what I say next because two of my cohort mates are here, but I've not cohort jumped in this program yet, but when I did my MOD at BGSU, I was in 3 different cohorts and it was wonderful every time. And just like Dr. Cady said, there were nuggets from each group that I got to take along. I also had a conversation just this past weekend with somebody who is looking to re-enter the doctoral program into a different cohort, kind of exactly the situation that you're describing. Started the program, life happened. And she was sharing that she is still in daily contact with a number of her previous cohort mates as she's looking to, like, where do I insert back in and how? So there is that flexibility, and definitely, again, the nuggets of your peers, that is a big part of this.
And we champion each other over the finish line, and we champion each other in your professional success in life, and oftentimes in personal life. So it's really pretty darn cool. People getting connections, getting job promotions. I can tell you this value of this degree. I can tell you almost everybody will tell you that before they graduate, they had a positive career impact in some fashion for themselves. And in some dramatic ways to subtle ways. But everybody will tell you that their career was influenced already positively before they even graduated. We can tell more stories like that later. So let me, Gordon, you had a question that you had, a reaction question.
I love cohort learning, and I totally get that. And that's very exciting to me. And I'm curious about the degree, and how would you design the program differently, or how would it be different if it were a PhD degree program?
Right. So two things. One, there are professional PhDs. Okay. They have a challenge actually, but they have the same effect as a doctorate in organization development and change. We're preparing you for a scholar practitioner career trajectory that will enable you to work in higher education and academia as well as in practice, and enable you to do it in a way that you could be an executive in residence, and a scholar in residence, or a scholar practitioner, or clinical residence, or a lecturer at the university, or those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. It enables you to balance all of that. And the professional PhDs do the same thing. If you apply to a school with a PhD or a doctorate, they're going to look at your pedigree, for example, and they're going to look at that to determine if what type of degree you got. If you have a PhD that's a professional doctorate, this is my belief, you have to explain why it's not a real PhD.
Got it.
Okay, you have to explain, because a PhD is intended for you to go into a 6-year, tenure track, research-oriented position where you spend 40 hours a week on research, 30 hours a week on teaching, 20 hours a week on service. So you're spending 75 to 100 hours a week working your tail off getting research done. And it's at a high level of intensity around research. Now, we're going to be building a PhD option in the program where people will do that. And it will add another layer of research training that goes one step beyond this, the research training that our students get. Our students are getting the ability to do research, the skills to publish, the skills to produce, to do it in a short period of time. I get that training in 3 years, and you can figure it out, know how to do the research, and we're not preparing you to go into that intense 6-year tenure track research at a tier 1 or tier 2. You could be a lecturer at a tier 1, tier 2 with the D.ODC, and you could be a tenure track. We have several that are tenure track faculty now at teaching institutions, teaching universities. Mm-hmm. So you can get tenure track teaching ones, but the pressure is not to publish you got to publish a little bit, but not a lot. And the publishing is complementary to your professional work and your professional brand. So it works really well.
Fantastic. It's helpful to know all PhDs are not the same. They're not all created equal. So that's really helpful too. Thanks.
I just want to add real quick to what Dr. Cady said, because I work directly under our president at our university, and we're considered a regional comprehensive university, but we're pretty heavy on the research side. And when I was talking through PhD versus a practitioner degree, she said to me, as long as you are putting up good work, I would hire a practice-based person in any one of my professor positions because of the work, the research that you're doing, and you bring that practice side, which is so real world. And I think at least in our region in higher ed, we're seeing a lot of shift to, we want to be able to help our students move from understanding what they're learning to be able to put that into practice when they step into the real world. And so it really helped solidify my decision to do this D.ODC program. And I don't think being a higher ed professional, I don't think it's going to hinder me at all. In fact, I think it opens the doors up tremendously for opportunities once I finish, regardless of higher ed or moving into the private sector. So I think this is a great place to start.
And Megan, I'm going to turn it over to you, so I think you could add a couple things and we'll wrap up. But I would say that a DODC, a doctorate in organizational development change in a college of business, is a unique combination that gives you a competitive advantage like none other, to be honest with you. Megan, did you have anything you wanted to say? It looked like you wanted to say something, maybe. I wasn't sure if I was seeing that.
No, I put a comment in the chat about it. I mean, I think it really depends what your intentions are. My intention was never to go get a tenure track position at a university and to do all that stuff that Steve talked about. I don't have an interest in that. I love teaching, so I adjunct, and it's a great, that's helped. It immediately opened the door right back to BG to teach a class this semester. I'm doing 2. I get to teach managing change with undergrads next semester. I'm so excited. So and bringing with the practitioner side, just like Anna Marie, sorry, is that I bring so much real world to the table with these students. Everything I do every day I teach the undergrads, I'm connecting it to the real world. And trying to make that connection so that, it's not just theory they're learning, but they're learning the practice side, and that they'll be more prepared when they go out. And I've got juniors and seniors. Most of them are graduating in December and May. They're going to go out with more understanding than certainly I had in my undergrad years of learning a lot of theory. So I think there's going to be a shift too. It's the kids that are in college these days are demanding different learning. They want learning that's going to apply, so I think it's kind of forcing schools to look at that, more of this experiential learning and how does it apply in the real world. So.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. That's so true. And so, Dave Chatfield, if you wanted to say any closing remarks, Carol, I'll ask you if you have any closing remarks. David is the director of our graduate programs in business. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we say goodbye?
Yeah, okay, I'm here. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad I attended. I've loved attending Steve's presentations since this program began. I've had the opportunity to watch it from its inception to its full development. And this guy is remarkable to work with. I'm the director of the administrative team that's sort of behind the screen. When you need books supplied, when you need meals catered, when you need to have rooms arranged with supplies, we have a team who are working to support the program in that fashion. I also get involved in recruiting whenever I can help out. It's an honor and a privilege to be associated with this program. I've never met a student in this program who regretted their decision to join it. I guess I'll just stop with that comment. Steve, thanks for
Thank you.
Thanks for the
Thanks, David.
Bye.
Thanks, David. And I will just add that, the students that are in the program, we do a comprehensive survey asking them, would you recommend the program? Are you satisfied in the program? And I think we're like at 90+% or a yes to a very yes, if not 5 on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah, I think we're like a 4.8 or something like that the last time I looked.
So everybody's yes or very yes. So it's on that end of the side, strongly agree to strongly agree. I'd recommend the program. So everybody's there. So it's 100% yes. It's just a matter of how strong. So we ask everybody that every year, checking in, asking questions, tweaking, making sure that we're like really managing that relationship. Carol facilitates and is designing our 3rd year dissertation experience and has been working on that. Carol, anything you want to say as we wrap up?
I don't want to end on a tactical note, but the question that started about finances was not really answered. And I'm fine with that, but I'm looking at Erin and her smile, and I wonder if
Yeah. I can touch on that, and we can touch on that. So Erin, what we do is there's a couple things. One, we can meet and give you ideas, like different ways that are both practical and direct and indirect. The practical way is that there is financial aid and loans that are available that you can get through FAFSA. And our program, when you look at it, if you could put Teo in the link, like something like the compare document, like the D.ODC compare, you can see the cost of programs. This program's cost is about half of our comparison programs. And we have, in some cases, better accreditation. So it's like a discount. Like we can say you're getting a 50% discount.
Yeah, and somebody had put in the chat about, using employer options, which certainly is at my disposal.
Yeah. And
that's a way to go about it as well. And you know, it's 3 years. I'm assuming it's the dollar amount spread over the 3 years by
Correct.
semester.
Yep.
Okay.
It comes out to probably about 25 a year.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more than that, but just a little bit. It's about 25 a year.
Okay.
And it's done by semester, and the university works with you. And I don't think you're asking questions like, is it worth, is it worth it or anything like that?
No.
But I know that I don't take that at all. But I do think that a lot of times when I buy something, I have buyer's remorse. So like, did I make a right decision? Oh my God, is that the right thing? And so all I want to do is I always am trying to make sure you know that it's an investment that I think you're getting a really good deal right off the bat. Second, it's there's different creative ways the university can work with you. There's the loan, but what I have seen at the price point that we're at, I think people are getting the return on investment very fast and getting the benefits of it very quickly because of our price point as a public university who is competing with some private institutions that are charging $150,000 for the same degree. So it's a really kind of neat kind of place we found ourselves to be, because we're not cheap, but we're definitely competitive.
Well, I hate to end so abruptly. I didn't want to just jump off the call, but I am late for a meeting. But I wanted to thank all of you. It was a really enjoyable experience, and I love the fact that you have current students that are kind of speaking to the value, and I think that's tremendous.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We need to end now anyway. So thank you all. Have a great rest of the day. We'll end the recording, and we'll see you soon. We're here every month. So bye for now.